So, folks, we gotta talk about Iran, and I think I have to be a bit more blunt than I have been. The United States is going to lose this war. It's, in a sense, already lost this war. I saw something today that gave me just the sense of a nail being driven into a coffin. And I'm gonna share it with you now, and I do warn you, it is like seeing a demon in the flesh for the first time. Here you go, folks.
Hello, everyone. I'm Assistant Press Secretary Riley Podleski, and welcome to this week's DOW Situation Report. Thanks to the strength of our Commander-in-Chief, the United States announced a 2-week ceasefire with Iran. In other words, the new Iranian regime understood that a deal was far better than the fate that awaited them. Our warfighters made history with their overwhelming victory on the battlefield. As Secretary Hegseth and Chairman Kaine reiterated at a press briefing on Wednesday, the United States Armed Forces dismantled one of the world's largest militaries, using less than 10% of America's total combat power. We owned their skies, wiped out their navy, destroyed their missile program, and rendered their defense industrial base useless. President Trump has made history and has done what no other president had the courage to do before. Over Easter weekend, the United States military proved, once again, why we possess the greatest fighting force the world has ever known. On April 3rd, an F-15 Strike Eagle fighter jet was downed by enemy forces in Iran. Within 48 hours, our armed forces executed 2 incredible rescue missions that involved more than 170 military aircraft deployed into hostile airspace, facing gunfire at close range, taking extraordinary risk to rescue their fellow service members. When the second crew member activated his emergency transponder, his first message was simple but powerful. God is good. In that moment of isolation and danger, his faith and fighting spirit came through. Shot down on Good Friday, hidden in a cave all Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday. As President Trump said, we will never leave an American warfighter behind. We will move heaven and earth to bring them home. For these 2 warriors and their rescuers, we thank God for allowing their safe return. This past Sunday, we observed Gold Star Spouses Day. We recognize the profound sacrifices made by the surviving spouses of our fallen heroes. Your unwavering strength and remarkable resilience continue to inspire us all. Today and always, we stand with you in solemn remembrance and deep gratitude.
That's why we have the butt rock playing in the background. It's part of our solemn remembrance and deep gratitude, the butt rock.
That's all we have for you this week. Thanks for watching. God bless you all, and God bless this great country we call home.
Genuinely disgusting. Like, genuinely, like, all of this feels dystopian as hell. And, this isn't parody? No, this is an actual video put out by the U.S. Department of War. I don't mean to be rude, but she looks like she's 12 years old. Yes. It's giving Uncanny Valley in hell. Yeah. In case you want to, like, I saw some of you wondering whether or not she's AI. She's not AI, guys. She's a graduate from Liberty University. So, I mean, you might be better served by an AI, I guess, in this one extraordinary circumstance. Yeah, she's been taught wrong as a joke. Liberty University. That's worse than what I was thinking? Yeah. Anyway, that's how the Iran war is going. They're having to try and figure out how to tap the TikTok generation to make their war propaganda videos. And now, granted, folks, I know there have been some rumors going around that perhaps the United States isn't doing super well with the war on Iran. I mean, I did start this segment out by saying that the United States has already lost it. Let's check in with Donald Trump. What does he think about the war?
Totally defeated.
It's so quiet. It's so quiet, though. Here.
That country. And so let's see what happens. Maybe they make a deal, maybe they don't. From the standpoint of America, we win. One other thing that's happening is that boats are sailing up and heading out to our country. Big, beautiful tankers, and we're loading them up with oil and gas and everything else. And it's a pretty beautiful thing to see.
What about the money trade? Iran's assets in other countries.
We're going to see what happens. We're in very deep negotiations with Iran. We win regardless. We've defeated them militarily. They've dropped a couple of water mines. You call them water mines in the boat. We've defeated all of their water boats.
You call them water mines. You call them water mines. That's what you call them in the water.
Their Navy has gone 158 ships. You call them water mines in the boat. We've defeated all of their water boats too. Their Navy is.
We defeated all of their water boats. You know, as opposed to the land boats that you drive around in.
It's gone 158 ships. They have 28 water droppers, mine droppers, they call them. All
His brain is so cooked, guys. Like, my God.
58 ships. They have 28 water droppers, mine droppers, they call them.
They have 28 water droppers. Like, what the fuck, guys? His brain is dying in real time.
All of them are sunk. They probably have a couple of mines in the water. We have minesweepers out there. We're sweeping the strait. In addition to that, we're negotiating. Whether we make a deal or not makes no difference to me. And the reason is because we've won. Whether you listen to the fake news or not, you know, it's amazing.
Anime sidekick gal.
/hate chopper talk.
He's so bizarre. Thank you for the $10 super chat. But like, make a deal, don't make a deal, doesn't make a difference to me. Like, what are you talking about? I couldn't care less. We already won. We won, I tell you, we won. We defeated all their water droppers. Like, it's like this man is fucking insane.
Their credibility is down to 13%. The media credibility down to 13%. Think of it. We defeated their Navy. We defeated their Air Force. We defeated their anti-aircraft. We defeated their radar. We defeated their leaders. Their leaders are all dead. And now all we do is we'll open up the strait even though we don't use it because we have a lot of other countries.
We don't use it, but just wait until you see all that oil and gas they're loading up onto tankers and then they're going to send it to us. We don't need or use it, though.
In the world that do use it that are either afraid or
we destroyed all their capabilities, except for that capability that shot down our plane the other day. That capability we were a bit late on.
Or cheap. I don't know what it is, but we were not helped by NATO, that I can tell you.
Like, this guy's just living in a world divorced from reality, like, completely and utterly. And, of course, like, a handful of... This was from April 11th. Let's check back in with what happened less than 24 hours later. What now? Vance leaves talks without a deal. So they sent JD Vance to do the negotiating on this one. And along with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the two dopes who torpedoed the last round of negotiation before this war was kicked off by Donald Trump for no reason. And, no deal was achieved. However, we have a statement from Donald Trump over on Truth Social. So... there you have it. The meeting went well. Most points were agreed to, but the only point that really mattered, nuclear, was not. Effective immediately, the United States Navy, the finest in the world, will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. At some point, we will reach an all being allowed to go in, all being allowed to go out basis. But Iran has not allowed that to happen by merely saying there may be a mine out there somewhere that nobody knows about but them. This is world extortion, and leaders of countries, especially the United States of America, will never be extorted. I have also instructed our Navy to seek and interdict every vessel in international waters that has paid a toll to Iran. Nobody who pays an illegal toll will have safe passage on the high seas. I'm sorry. But, like, the idea of, like, if you paid that illegal toll and had money extorted from you, we're gonna stop you from being able to go through, because how dare anyone extort you that isn't us, the US government? Like, yeah, he's talking like a pirate. Oh my god. We will also begin destroying the mines the Iranians laid in the straits. They're gonna get rid of all the straight mines. Pretty soon, all that will be left are the gay mines. Any Iranian who fires at us or at peaceful vessels will be blown to hell. Not sexual. Iran knows, but he didn't say that part. That I added that little flare in. Okay. Iran knows better than anyone how to end this situation, which has already devastated their country. Their navy is gone, their air force is gone, their anti-aircraft and radar are useless. Khomeini and most of their leaders are dead, all because of their nuclear ambition. The blockade will begin shortly. Other countries will be involved with this blockade. Iran will not be allowed to profit off this illegal act of extortion. They want money, and more importantly, they want nuclear. Additionally, and at an appropriate moment, we are fully locked and loaded, and our military will finish off the little that is left of Iran. Not sexual. President Donald J. Trump. No other country in the world is going to help us blockade the Strait of Hormuz. This is stupid. This is really stupid. I also want to point out it's really illegal under international law. Because under international law, you are only allowed to blockade the country you are targeting for a blockade. Meaning that if the United States were to do a legal blockade of Iran, they would have to let through ships that are not affiliated with Iran. That's how legal blockades operate under international law. Didn't China just say if the blockade stops their shipping, it will be considered a hostile act or something? I mean, yes. It's all so stupid. It's all so stupid, guys. Iran promised to open the Strait of Hormuz, and they knowingly failed to do so. This caused anxiety, dislocation, and pain to many people and countries throughout the world. They say they put mines in the water even though all of their navy and most of their mine droppers have been completely blown up. They may have done so, but what shipowner would want to take the chance? There is great dishonor and permanent harm to the reputation of Iran and what's left of their leaders. But we are beyond all of that. As they promised, they better begin the process of getting this international waterway open and fast. Every law in the book is being violated by them, and I've been fully debriefed by Vice President J.D. Vance, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner on the meeting that took place in Islamabad through the kind of very competent leadership that Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan. They're very extraordinary men and continuously thank me for saving 30 to 50 million lives in what would have been a horrendous war with India. I always appreciate hearing that. The amount of humanity spoken of is incomprehensible. Just so you know, what he's saying here is he loves how these guys constantly suck up to him because they know they have to suck up to him to get him to do anything, right? It's part of the reason that these negotiations keep failing is because, like, frankly, Iran keeps making fun of Trump, and it's very effective at getting him mad. The meeting with Iran began early in the morning and lasted throughout the night, close to 20 hours. I could go into great detail and talk about much that has been gotten, but there is only one thing that matters. Iran is unwilling to give up its nuclear ambitions. In many ways, the points that we agreed to are better than us continuing our military operations to conclusion. But all of those points don't matter compared with allowing nuclear power to be in the hands of such volatile, difficult, and unpredictable people, says the man who, just like, 72 hours ago, was threatening to wipe out their entire civilization from the face of the earth forever with nuclear weapons. But okay. My 3 representatives, as of this time went by, became not surprisingly very friendly and respectful of Iran's representatives. Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf, Abbas Aragachi, and Ali Bagri. But that doesn't matter because they were very unyielding as to the single most important issue, and as I've always said, right from the beginning and many years ago, Iran would never have a nuclear weapon. I said that. I remember saying that right after I ripped up the agreement that prevented them from getting a nuclear weapon. Okay, I remember that very clearly. Well, so the question Jordan L. asks, how exactly are they going to keep Chinese flagships from crossing? Are they really willing to sink them? The answer, genuinely, is I have no fucking idea. The guy who is currently in charge of the US military is a fucking lunatic. I have no idea if he's going to give the order to take action that could result in, like, war with China. Like, I don't know. It's incredibly, incredibly dangerous for him to be allowed to stay in power. And yet, he continues to be in power. Republicans continue to support him to prevent him from being kicked out. They continue to reject any war powers resolution that are introduced. It's really bad. We're in a really, really scary situation. I know we like to laugh at how insane Donald Trump is, but like, we laugh because it's fucking scary. It's fucking terrifying. CENTCOM says they're only going to stop ships going from or to Iran's ports. I also just don't believe them. I don't believe the communications coming out of the US military under Donald Trump right now. At least the public-facing ones. Now, what was the other major stumbling block for these negotiations? Because from the Trump side of things, it sounds like nuclear power was one of them. The other big one is specifically related to Lebanon, right? Because one of the big issues here has been that from the beginning, the folks who put together these peace talks have been saying, well, this ceasefire includes Lebanon. And apparently, according to this reporting from CBS News last week, Donald Trump also acknowledged that it included Lebanon. However, this ceasefire was not agreed to by Israel. Because this agreement was negotiated between the United States and Iran, Israel has just been continuing to do what they do without really acknowledging any of this whatsoever. And it's one of the reasons why within 10 minutes, Israel launched 100 airstrikes across Lebanon. And it's horrifying. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. And, you know, you've got Iran putting out very specifically, Lebanon and the entire resistance axis are Iran's allies and form an inseparable part of the ceasefire. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif of Pakistan publicly and clearly stressed the Lebanon issue. There's no room for denial and backtracking. Ceasefire violations carry explicit costs, and strong responses extinguish the fire immediately. Well, the fire has not been extinguished. And this is a big problem going forward because Israel instead has accelerated their ethnic cleansing campaign. And the articles coming out are and evidence coming out is just staggeringly sickening, to say the least. Everything is gone. Israel destroys entire villages in Lebanon. There are actually Israeli soldiers, much like what they did in Gaza, posting videos on social media of entire villages being destroyed by their explosive charges, you know? Here is an example of some of these destructions. Just like controlled demolitions of entire villages. The Guardian put together a map of all of the demolitions that are occurring throughout southern Lebanon. It's not insignificant. There's quite a lot of destruction going on here. And it's just, I mean, it's just so awful. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to destroy anything that people might come back to. Effectively, they expel the undesirables that they do not want, and then they destroy the village so that there's no reason for people to go back. And this way, they keep advancing forward a line of ethnic cleansing and genocidal intent throughout southern Lebanon. And the Israeli military keeps posting these videos. Look at that. Just gonna yes, they are proud of this shit. It's not like, this is why when we talk about the situation in Israel, I want to always make it clear that Netanyahu is just one of many problems in Israel. Because even if you got rid of Netanyahu today, tomorrow, like, there are 1,000 guys just like him, high ranking in Israel's government, who all agree this is awesome, who all love this genocidal violence. And I do not know how to de-radicalize an entire country where 80% of the people think that it is perfectly fine and just to genocide an entire swath of Lebanon. But here we are. Here we are. Gotta have some Lebensraum for the Greater Israel Project. So, all that's going on. Let's hear from JD Vance on the negotiations.
We've had a
God, also quiet. A bunch of these clips are very quiet.
Number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement. We've made very clear what our red lines are.
Can I just say it's deeply fucked up that Jared Kushner continues to be part of any of this? Behind JD Vance here is Steve Witkoff, and then off camera is Jared Kushner standing like a fucking Slender Man. Creepy ass. No reason for him to be here.
What things we're willing to accommodate them on and what things we're not willing to accommodate them on. And we've made that as clear as we possibly could. And they have chosen not to accept our terms.
Damn, but I thought Donald Trump said they were begging for a ceasefire. Now, what was the Iranian response? Quote, the Americans intended to achieve concessions in the negotiation room that they could not obtain during the war, including issues related to the Strait of Hormuz and the removal of nuclear materials from the country, but the Iranian delegation prevented this. The Iranian team made various initiatives to steer the American side towards reaching a common framework, but the Americans' greed hindered their rationality and realism. And isn't NATO meant to stop things like Israel? No, NATO is intended to stop aggression. NATO is basically a gigantic defense pact. So basically, the purpose of NATO is for all countries to come to the defense of a member state if attacked. That is the primary point of NATO. And that type of defensive alliance was meant to stop the USSR. There is no USSR anymore, obviously, but NATO continues to exist. The only time NATO has actually been invoked in order to, respond to an attack was after 9/11. So it has not been used very often. It's largely seen, I think, by a lot of countries as a deterrent force because, no one might want to attack the United States directly to do an act of war. That also means, by extension, that no one wants to attack, Finland. So in a sense, it's seen as kind of a stabilizing geopolitical force, but it's not if Lebanon was a member of NATO, then yes, NATO would be something that would prevent what is happening to Lebanon right now. But Lebanon is not in NATO. Why can't the UN do something about it? Because the United States is on the UN Security Council, and as such, having a diplomatic protective relationship with Israel means that the United States can unilaterally veto any resolution that would actually do anything about Israel's expansionism. So what essentially the entire purpose of the UN is kind of undermined by US imperial power. The UN, by the way, does try to do something about Israel. It's just that they're the most like internationally condemned country on earth because of all of like the illegal settlements, because of the unending aggression over the last several decades. You know, it's not great. And anyway, in case you were thinking Donald Trump is going to solve this problem by being a big tough man, earlier yesterday, Trump says gas prices may remain high through November midterm election. Super cool. Super cool stuff. It could be the same or the same. It could be or the same or maybe a little bit higher, but it should be around the same. Like, it's so stupid, guys. Everything's stupid. Later on Sunday, Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bakr Ghalibaf, who led Iran's delegation in the talks, posted on social media that a blockade would lead to higher U.S. gas prices. Enjoy the current pump figures, he wrote on X, alongside a map showing gas prices in Washington. With the so-called blockade, soon you'll be nostalgic for $4 to $5 in gas. I mean, this is the entire thrust of their strategy, you know? The entire thrust of their strategy is just economic pain in the United States will produce results from the U.S. government. Now, I will say that I would wager that Donald Trump's mental state is right about here. This is a scene from the movie Downfall. And I say that because, well, we get this reaction here.
Have you already got someone listening to your threats about reopening the Strait of Hormuz?
How do you know that? Why do you say that?
Are they reopening?
Why do you say that? You don't know anything. Who you with? Who you
NBC
with?
News, Philly Circuit.
ABC?
NBC.
Well, let's make news.
Mr. President.
Let me just tell you, we win, no matter what. We've defeated their military. They have no navy. 158 ships are underwater, undersea. All of their minesweepers and all of their, they call them mine droppers. Can you imagine? A country has 28 mine droppers. You think that's nice? With all of that being said, they're all defeated, by the way. They're all at the bottom of the sea. Now, with all of that, they have no navy. They have no radar. They have no air force. Their leaders are all dead. Khomeini is gone. For many years, he ruled. He's gone. With all of that, let's see what happens. But from my standpoint, I don't care.
Where did you hear that? I don't care. I'm yelling at you to prove how much I don't care about this. Like, dude is frazzled beyond his frazzle zone. Anyway, apropos of nothing, the U.S. Department of Defense has lost 8 MQ-9 Reaper drones in the Middle East since April 1st, bringing the total number of such devices lost in the Iran war up to 24, according to CBS. Each one of those drones costs, conservatively, $30 million. We've lost 24 of them, meaning we're getting close to, like, losing $1 billion worth of drones due to this war. So glad we did that instead of free, like, community college for all. So cool that we funnel all this money into the U.S., war machine, and these dipshits just burn that money for no fucking reason. Jesus, yeah, Iran are completely disabled. Well, the alternative is that the United States military is woefully incompetent and just has been downing our own drones. Just flying them straight into the ground. Everything about this is so stupid. And you know what? Let's just take a look. This is from 2 days ago, after the negotiations failed.
Hey, that statement got them to the bargaining table, and they haven't left. They haven't left the bargaining table. I predict they come back and they give us everything we want. And I told my people, I want everything. I don't want 90%. I don't want 95%. I told them, I want everything.
Well, and what they
have
want...
no cards. Maria.
Yep.
They have no cards. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Totally gone. They have nothing. They have no ships. Hey, that statement.
Like, he just keeps repeating, like, we've totally destroyed all of their capabilities. You know, except for their capability to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. You know, we've destroyed everything they have, except for the, you know, again, the main thing that you're now having to blockade them for.
But, Mr. President, you wrote on Truth Social this morning saying that we will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. And at some point, we will reach an all being allowed to go in and all being allowed to go out basis. Right. So tell us what you're trying to accomplish with this blockade,
all in,
sir.
All out. Yep. It's called all in and all out. There'll be a time when we'll have them all come in and all come out.
That's not what it's called. It's just called having an open Strait of Hormuz. You know, the state of things prior to you starting this war for no reason.
But it won't be a percentage. It won't be a friend of yours, like a country that's your ally or a country that's your...
Yeah, also worth noting out, exactly, a mobilizer. I want everything is not negotiation. That's not how a negotiation works. What you are describing is a unilateral surrender. You just want a full unconditional surrender, and then you get to do whatever you want to the country, which is not ever going to be something that is in the cards if you're going to a negotiation.
Friend, it's all or nothing, and that'll be that won't be in too long a distance. No, we're just bringing the ships up. We got a lot of ships, so we're bringing them up. We think that numerous countries are going to be helping us with this also, but we're putting...
No other country is going to help us with this.
On a complete blockade. We're not going to let Iran make money on selling oil to people that they like and not people that they don't like or whatever it is. It's going to be all or none, and that's the way it is. And it'll be...
Yeah, you can't just sell things to only the people you like. You have to sell it to everybody. That's the law.
You saw what we did with Venezuela. It'll be something very similar to that, but at a higher level.
But, Mr. President, you...
I mean... Good fucking luck, I guess. Also, just like Fox Business asked Donald Trump about rising prices. I'm gonna read you his response. This was also on Fox News. This was on Fox News today. I just have the greatest economy ever. Everything's going along, and I say, I'm sorry. I tell my economic advisors, and I say, I'm sorry, fellas. We were in great shape. Oh, we are in great shape. We have to go and take a little journey down to Iran. And it's just like, this is, I'm sorry, this is a fucking nuts page to look at. Like, being asked about the fact that prices in America are going to rise in a big way pretty shortly here. He's just talking about, look, the prices are going up because that's how much we're winning. Whenever you see it go up by $1, that means we've won more oil. All right, like this is nuts, absolutely nuts. I don't know. Something tells me Iran isn't on their last legs, just judging by some of their foreign embassies still being active on social media. Iran and Ghana. Read slowly. We don't need the strait. Go open it yourselves. Fine, we'll open it. Actually, we're blockading it. Okay, not blockading, everyone. 5 positions, 6 weeks. 2 of them today, and our armed forces just sat there sipping tea, watching America negotiate with America over a strait Iran already blockades. Empires used to fall in centuries. This one can't hold a policy for an afternoon. Which, it's true. The Pope prayed for peace. Trump tonight called him weak and said, I don't want a Pope who criticizes me. Let the record show who this man is. He went to Epstein's Island consistently for years. He paid hush money to a porn star while his wife was pregnant and got convicted for it. 34 felonies. His missile hit a school full of innocent children in Minab, 168 dead. 6 months ago, he said with his own mouth, I'm not heaven bound, the only honest sentence he's ever said. The Pope lit a candle for your dark soul, but there are 168 little girls at Heaven's Gate who got there before you, because of you. They'll be the jury, and they remember your name. The hell awaits you, Don. Let's review. Trump threatened to destroy a whole civilization. Then he begged for a ceasefire. Then he flew his VP across the world to negotiate for 21 hours. Vance left with nothing. So now Trump wants to blockade the strait he can't even sail through, the same strait Iran closed weeks ago and dared anyone to reopen. Your best generals failed, your best diplomats failed, and your big move is doing Iran's job for them? Our Revolutionary Guard should send you a thank you note. You're the cheapest contractor they had never hired. No one can write a comedy this good. Breaking, in a brave move, the U.S. just announced it's blocking a strait it's been blocked from. Like, the sass levels are off the charts. Like the online sass game has been dominated by Iran with their Lego AI slop and their frankly they're just sassy replies to horrible and horrific foreign policy decisions. This whole situation is deeply fucked up. I don't know where the off-ramp is to this anymore, but I will say a couple of things, which is that as of right now, apparently at 11 a.m. Eastern time, Israel and Lebanon are going to have negotiations for a potential ceasefire and cessation of hostilities. My guess is, just reading between the lines here, considering Marco Rubio is also going to be attending those talks, that Israel is being compelled by the United States to at least go to these talks. I'm sure whoever is sent by Israel is going to do their damnedest to torpedo these talks, but kind of the impression that I'm getting here is that Iran has been going to bat for an ending of combat against Lebanon, and the Trump administration, desperate to make some kind of a deal, is compelling Israel to send a delegation and try to negotiate for a cessation of hostilities because Donald Trump badly wants a way out of this. That it makes, at least makes him look kinda like he's a competent leader. My guess is until the ceasefire is obtained between Israel and Lebanon, Iran is also going to have its door closed to any additional negotiations. However, there are also some plans in the works right now to attempt to get some kind of new negotiation round going between the United States and Iran, being pushed for and proposed by Pakistan again. So we'll have to see how this all shakes out, but that's kind of where we're at the moment. Some tentative talks for a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, possible new round of talks if that ceasefire gets put in place between the United States and Iran, and maybe an actual sustained ceasefire between all parties involved will be conducive to producing an off-ramp from this for the Trump administration. So that's kind of where we're at. Bin Thrung, thank you for being a member. Very much appreciated. But I do want to also point out here, I think we are on the verge of having the American geopolitical bubble popped a little bit. Because I think a lot of Americans have this idea that America is somehow immune to like resource shortages around the world, or economic boycotts, or, you know, say the closure of the Strait of Hormuz by Iran isn't going to affect us that much, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And I just want you guys to watch this clip. This is Fareed Zakaria and Karen Young.
The crisis in Asia is very acute. I mean, in Sri Lanka, they've shortened the school week. In Thailand, they're telling government employees don't take elevators. People are being told don't use air conditioning. Is it going to get worse in Europe? I mean, the U.S. is probably fine, but in places like Europe?
Well, we're not fine. I mean, these prices are global, and so we are going to see inflationary pressure both on transit fuels and...
I want you to pay close attention to his face here.
But in places like Europe?
Well, we're not fine. I mean, these prices are global.
Just like, oh, we're not fine. I see.
So we are going to see inflationary pressure both on transit fuels and on food in the U.S. But yes, Asia has felt the pinch first. Any economy that is heavily dependent on energy exports, Philippines, Malaysia, you name it, down the list as you mentioned, those economies are hit the most, especially those also that use LPG as a cooking fuel. So it's not just in crude or in diesel and jet fuel. What we'll see in the coming week or two to Europe is really this jet fuel crunch. And refined products. So this is spreading, and it creates inflationary pressures that the whole global economy has to deal with. It also encourages countries to think about basically hoarding or not, sharing supply. And those countries that have the benefit of stockpiles, South Korea, Japan, even India, are going to be better off because they can shield their populations from some of that initial shock. Poorer economies can't do that.
Yeah, we're going to feel effects from this. We are not isolated from the global supply chain. Now, of course, with any discussion about what is happening here with the Iran war, we do have to, at the end of the day, turn to the leader of the Democrats in the Senate, one Chuck Schumer.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
Let's check in with his rousing attacks against the Trump administration. Update on Trump's Operation Epic Fail. Strait of Hormuz, complete chaos. Iranian regime, still standing. Gas prices, highest in years. Iran's nuclear ambitions, exactly the same. America's international credibility, worse. We must end this war immediately before Donald Trump makes things even worse. Wow. Things have gotten so bad that even Chuck Schumer's like, maybe we shouldn't bomb Iran some more. You know? I don't know. Like, Chuck Schumer loved the idea of bombing the shit out of Iran. He loved it. Like, he was one of the slowest people to condemn what was happening here. But even Chuck Schumer has now hit the point of like, well, I guess we should end it. We don't want to overstay our welcome. Too much of a good thing ruins the whole pie. Chuck is such a motherfucker. He really, really is.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
The mothers are aroused. They're more aroused than I've seen in a long, long time. And that's where things stand. There's still no clear resolution here. The only real outcome from all of this is quite clearly that the United States is losing this. Donald Trump is desperate for a way out. There is no functional way for the United States to defeat a country of, almost 100 million people with a colossal standing army that is willing to fight tooth and nail any kind of boots on the ground in their country. Like, we do not have the capability, barring some kind of extraordinarily prolonged and expensive campaign, to fully take out their ability to lock down the Strait of Hormuz. And they know that now. The reason the United States loses this conflict is not because this is like poor military planning or, because of any real material or logistical reason. The reason we lose this is because we picked a fight we couldn't win. This was not a winnable conflict. This would be like challenging the moon to like a punching contest. It's just not you're not going to win that contest. It's meaningless. It's stupid. It's a waste of your time and energy. Isn't Iran the biggest military in the region? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, their standing military is 570,000. But then they also have claimed that they have the capacity to call up multiple millions more if necessary. You can't fistfight the moon, too many ghosts? Exactly. This is just not a conflict anyone sane would have ever picked. Even George W. Bush, even George Bush Jr. knew not to pick this fight, and he was largely considered, and still is largely considered, one of the dumbest presidents we have ever had. And even he knew that bombing Iran and getting into a war with Iran was a terrible idea. And that's the guy that fucking did Iraq and Afghanistan. Terrible idea. But then Donald Trump said, nah, I got this. It'll be easy. We'll be in and out. It'll be like a week. I don't know. When you know, your current history's biggest morons thought maybe we shouldn't. You know, maybe you should have thought about that impulse for a second or two before you pulled the trigger on going to war. God damn it. Anyway, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, leave a comment. Comments longer than 8 words really helping the algorithm. I don't know, do the things. You know, the things. Wait, George Bush Jr. did Iraq and Afghanistan? Yes. And also, I just want to say, get organized. Get organized, get organized, get organized, get organized. Join your local Dems, make them more progressive. Join your local DSA, make them more effective, okay? We need to make the working class the core of our organizing apparatus for DSA. We need to make the working class the core of our policy focus for your local Democrats. We need to do this shit. And we can only do it if you show up and organize. So if you need help getting started, guess what? We got people here to help you. You can reach out to Dragonfly for help joining your local Dems. You can reach out to GamerG for help joining your local DSA. And you can do that over in the Discord, !Discord in any of the chats to get a link to join that. And also, you can do it by joining riverboat.gg, which you just type riverboat.gg in your URL address bar. And you can chat with them over there. Look, Dragonfly is right there, right now. She said boo. That's how you know. That's how you know. Not the boo, but the Dragonfly name. Go talk with her about joining your local Dems. That is how you fix this. You engage in the political process, and you do not stop until you win. If you are upset and fucking furious about this war in Iran, the way you stop it is by getting organized and building up that institutional power that is necessary to create change. And last but not least, folks, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. People love it. It is non-tucking, sexy, attractive, elegant lingerie that fits. Go check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com, link down in the description, and let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Feel the